here we are.
Oh my.
You're supposed to look in the mirror before you go live.
Right.
Because now the whole world's like, oh my. See, I don't have this problem because I don't have the hair. So there's that.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Here we are. Another day in the life
Another day in the life
of a short-term rental operator.
Yeah. So if you didn't see it in the description and you happen to be on Facebook, because this is on Facebook and YouTube, we do have a YouTube channel, Short Term Rental Authority. Look us up on YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. You're supposed to say that, right? We're supposed to have this fancy graphic or something that says like or subscribe. Hey guys, long time no see. Long time no see. Just so you know who I'm responding
to. Hi.
Long time no see.
Guys.
I hope you're doing well. Hope
y'all are doing well. That's awesome. Welcome. Glad to see you here.
Yep. So we do these weekly. We do them at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We'd love to have you next Wednesday as well. If you want to come ask questions, we kind of just hang out for as long as necessary and answer any questions we got, or just kind of tell you what's going on in our business. Because sometimes that's what we want to talk about, right?
So it's real talk.
It's real talk.
This is real talk.
We should change it. Real talk with John and Wendy.
That's really good.
Real talk. So
what's been happening?
Yeah. So I said, hey, we're doing great. Glad to see you all Wednesdays. Got it. Yeah. So just come back next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Come back next Wednesday. But here we are this Wednesday, right? So we're just hanging out. And Wendy and I, what was supposed to be the topic of this, actually?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah. So there's that. We didn't really think through, like, what's the topic for tonight?
We didn't really have a plan for tonight.
We're
just going to kind of wing it and talk about what's happening.
Yeah, because we talk all the time. That's one of the cool things about, and Michael and Jocelyn have this kind of same dynamic, actually, but you know, when you're husband and wife business owners, you tend to have business meetings quite often. Right. And especially Wendy and I, we work from home. We, hang out. We coach people all day. Basically, sometimes we get to go play golf like I did this morning. Mm-hmm. And Wendy makes faces. Mm-hmm. But it was, are you allowed to say you gamble? I'm not sure if that's legal or whatever. But whatever. Either way, my teammate and I won greens fees for next week, so golf will be free. Wendy will like that.
I do like that.
We won by a stroke. We should have won by more, but next week we will hand it to him again. And I've now discovered a way that I can play golf for free every week. Just find somebody that's worse at it than you, and play them for greens fees. That's what we did.
Well, you've been playing for over a year now.
Right. That's not a long time though.
In the grand scheme of things,
yeah,
I'm sure.
But I mean, lots of people
gotten better.
Yes, and that's actually interesting. I one of the because I never played golf in my life. Like, it wasn't a thing. It was like what other people did, basically. For me, I was more into like baseball and things like that. But as you get older, it gets harder to find people to play baseball with. First of all,
it gets harder to play baseball yourself.
It gets harder to play baseball. And I like football too, but if I got tackled like right now, that might be an insurance claim.
Right.
So I had to find something else that I could do that was
didn't get an insurance claim.
Right. That was at least technically a sport. that I could go do and play it, into my, I'm not old, but you know what I mean, right?
Not too bad.
Not too bad? What do you mean? I said I'm not old and you're not too, you said not too bad?
Not too old.
Not too old. You're older than me.
It's true.
I always like to point this out.
It's true.
3 months older. So there's 3 months out of every year that Wendy's like, 1 year older than me, technically.
Right. He likes to rag me about it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm dating a older woman for
right. For 3 months.
For 3 months, and then I catch up, and then it's not any fun anymore. But anyway, none of that has to do with STRs.
but it is fun to
but
think about what you could be doing with your time when you are not
that is true.
working a 9 to 5.
That is true. And one of the things that we're actively trying to build around you or around here and hopefully help you with as well is, how do I not have to do this stuff? Right? Like, how do I get to go play golf on a Wednesday? And I feel like I'm halfway there because I actually got to go do that. Right. And you forget that it was super annoying. This is going to sound stupid to some of you, but it was super annoying that there was all this traffic because we went super early. We went, super early for me again, but
8 o'clock.
We had an 8 o'clock tee
8
time.
8 o'clock is super early for John.
And driving over there, it was, what is the hell is up with all this traffic?
Just like,
we're going to be late.
Why are all these people driving on the road?
We're going to be late
so
for our
early
tee time because there's all these people on the damn road. Why are these people out at 8 o'clock? And then it dawned on me, they're going to work.
They're going to work. Right.
And then I
forgot people do that.
And then and it's not to be, believe me, we struggle around here too, right? It's not that we have pots of gold in the back or anything that we're, doing snow bunnies and money or something.
Snow bunnies and money.
Right. It's not that type of situation. So I don't mean to sound like I'm talking down to anybody or anything like that because I did it forever. I had PTSD all of a sudden because I was like, oh God, I remember doing this every day, like twice in the morning and the afternoon. And I don't like being in traffic.
Thank God I don't have to do that anymore.
Right. So we kind of have, while it's not perfect, we kind of have designed this life that we have where we don't normally have to go do that unless we have early tea time or something. Right?
That's because we have actually taken the time to think about we
have a cat. Yes.
To think about the life that we wanted to create for ourselves, right? And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to start a short-term rental business in the first place, is because we wanted a business that would amass some of all this cash flow so that we could in turn purchase cash flowing assets, right? So that you can not have to work and put your money to work for you, right? You're not working for money so much. Your money's working for you. So I think that's one of the things that we've learned along the way. And one of the things that I enjoy about the business, like I'm cleaning out you can see all the boxes, I
got to figure out how to do better backgrounds or something because now you get to see our real mess.
Yeah,
but
this is me cleaning out the loft and redesigning the upstairs. So
yes,
that's what that is. But I have time to do that, right? So but we kind of get lost in the weeds a little bit when we're working. What are we working for? Right? Wouldn't it be nice to have this lifestyle where we get to go do whatever we want, whenever we want, with whoever we want to do it with? And thinking about that is fun, I think, and creating that and moving towards that. But it takes a while. It does.
It does. You know what? That reminds me of, so if you don't know, one of our big mentors in life has been Jay Massey over at Cashflow Diary. You may go over there and be like, they're a competitor, aren't they? I'm like, no, they're not, actually. Everybody learns from someone. And they have a fine program over there for short-term rentals. It may not be in your price point, but it's there, right? So I want to put that out there. It's not like, hey, we're the only people that know anything, right? And I feel like we all learn from someone else, and I like to pass along what I've learned, right? So I just want to give credit where credit's due, but this particular lesson, what you just said, reminded me of something that I've heard from Jay, and it's very timely because somebody today won that $1.2 billion Powerball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was a single ticket too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you follow
That's right.
lottery or whatever.
I saw that.
And I'm not a big like lottery player, but when it gets to 1.4 billion, we went and bought a ticket.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's $1, it's $2,
Right.
whatever it is, right?
You got to play
like,
to win.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a $2 down, see if I get me $1 billion, right? but a single person bought that. But the lesson was, go buy yourself a lottery ticket, even if it's not the 1.4 billion one or whatever. But the 400 million one would still be life changing to most people, right? But go buy that lottery ticket, and the whole exercise is, if you've ever bought a lottery ticket, all of a sudden you have hope because there's a chance, right?
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance.
There's a chance that you win.
Saying there's a chance.
And then you start dreaming.
Yes. Yes.
Because you're like, hey, if we, baby, if we win that
I'm taking you on a.
If we win the 1.4 billion, we know we got to pay probably like half of that in taxes or something.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But $1 billion is still a lot, right? Or 200 million is still a lot. And then you start thinking about all the things you're going to do with it, right? And it allows yourself to dream a little bit. And then like going to be, having something like, oh, I can go golf whenever I want, starts to sound like that ain't big enough. Right. Like if I had $1 billion, like, okay, I get bored with that after a while. Like, do I have a purpose? Like, is there something I want to like go make a change on the world? Now you're thinking bigger, right?
Oh yes.
And it's all because you have this thing in your hand that's a possibility.
Yep.
And that related back to kind of what you said, is like, you got to figure out what is it that you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go. And we learned that as you need to develop your vision story, which is why we teach that, because it's a very foundational to what you're going to do in life, in any business, in golf, actually. Like, you got to figure out, what am I trying to accomplish here? To get that ball in that little hole over there, right?
It's a lot harder than you think it is.
A lot harder than you think it is. It's a simple game. It's like hit ball. It's not moving. Like, I thought it'd be easier than baseball. The golf ball is stationary. Like, how hard can it be, right? It's harder than you think, because you get these weird clubs and stuff, right, to hit it with. But life is like that too, right? The idea is very simple. Go rent some places, put furniture in it, and put it on Airbnb, right? That sounds very simple, but the structure and the systems behind that, and realizing that, oh crap, like Airbnb is not my friend, and I don't necessarily want to rely on them for all my business, and they just canceled my account, and now I'm all of a sudden out of business or something, right? Now you realize, oh, I got to think bigger. And by the way, now I need all these team members, and like, what's payroll and how do you do that? And I need these systems and processes because somebody did something, right? Or something went wrong, or, I'm just exhausted because I have to keep calling cleaners and dealing with whatever, right? And that's what burns you out. And that's what we are trying to help people with, is actually turning that from something that's, hey, I had this big hairy thing I wanted to do. I had this vision. I created this business to do it, but now it's like, I feel like the damn thing is a new job for me. Right. And now I'm consumed by this drama. And there's a way that you can get out of that as well, and then kind of elevate yourself. So it's almost like my dreams weren't big enough, right? It wasn't just, hey, let's go make money. It was, okay, let's make this a company. Let's make this a functioning thing that now is an asset in and of itself.
Yes, it is.
Right.
We've just created our own asset. Right.
That to your point produces cash flow. Then there's more assets that come along with it. Right.
Yep. And that's the whole point of going into business, right? Is to create cash flow for yourself so you can go do stuff with it, right? But that's the idea behind cash flowing assets, and the idea of generational wealth, I think, is figuring out how to buy those cash flowing assets, because you could have a job and buy cash flowing assets.
You can.
I mean,
You can.
if you had a really great job and you had some money left over, go buy some cash flowing assets, and guess what? Pretty soon you've got your cash flowing assets,
and that's the cash flow game, right?
Are making just as much money as you would be going to a job.
Yeah, that's cash flow 101.
That's cash flow 101.
If you don't know, we host a cash flow 101 board game once a month.
The last Wednesday
of every month. We're currently hopping locations because we haven't found the perfect one that we like yet.
Not just quite yet.
Not just quite yet. But Wendy and I have been eating lunch at lots of different places.
It's business related.
Yes, which that sounds like a business expense. But anyway, so we've been going to places looking for the perfect location, but these are held in Charlotte, North Carolina. Specifically, the Matthews area is where we're looking to host these. And we do those the last Wednesday of every month. So if you're in the area or passing through the area, definitely come check us out. But that's exactly what that's about. It's taking the income that you have from whatever source and then investing in assets that passively, preferably as much as possible, then provide your income, right? And how does that relate to short-term rentals? Well, short-term rentals is the one thing that we found that was the fastest to cash flow. It creates the most cash flow of any investment that we've ever tried. And we've done a bunch of them. We've done fix and flips. Fix and flips. We've had long-term rentals. We've had, well, I'm going to say we never did do a note deal.
No, we tried.
I know a lot about notes, though. Took class on it.
Yep, we did.
Seems like a great way to make money. Understand it, just never done one.
Yep.
It's just what it is. What else did we do? Oh, we did some wholesaling.
That's true.
Wholesale deals. A lot of people try to start there.
Yep. Owner finance.
Yeah, we had an owner finance deal that one time. That dude got mad at me because of some of that contract.
Yep.
And, Yep. So we've done a lot of that stuff.
Got a question.
None of it was as good as this. What's notes? Oh yeah. What's notes? Notes? Okay.
Oh.
This is a great question. I'm glad you asked the question.
I hope you're sitting down.
This is probably off topic, but so is this whole life.
Well, we're talking about cash flowing assets.
We are. And
short-term rental business is a cash flowing asset.
It definitely is. It definitely is. If you set it up correctly. What's notes? Okay. So a note is like, here's the easiest way probably to explain it. If you've ever bought a car or you've ever bought a house, there was some paperwork that went along with that. And you signed on a piece of paper somewhere saying, in your case, probably Michael or Jocelyn, but in our case, I, John, or Wendy promised to pay. What was the last car loan we did? Wells Fargo, actually. It was a Wells Fargo auto loan. Wells Fargo, $239 a month for 60 months until paid, and then there's some penalties if you don't do it, right? Like we're going to come take your car or whatever. And then they put a lien on it. That's the collateral, right? They put a lien on it down at the DMV, and if you don't pay them, they come repossess your car, right? But those two things are actually separate. The lien that's on the car is just the collateral. The note is the thing you sign saying, I promise. So it's like an IOU. It says, I promise to pay you, Wells Fargo, $236 a month for the next 60 months. That's a note. What's important to know about a note is that thing is now valuable. Because Wells Fargo has a piece of paper that says John has to pay them $236 a month for the next 60 months.
It's got payments tied to it.
and that adds up to a certain amount. I don't know what the total amount is. Let's call it $15,000. Okay. So the total of that is $15,000. It's just that it's paid over time, right? Wells Fargo could turn around to someone else who was a note investor, because that's a note, and say, hey, we really don't want to wait 6 years and get paid $236 a month. We'll sell you this $15,000 worth of payments for $10,000 today. And then that note investor may say, that sounds great. I will give you $10,000. You give me the note. And now Wells Fargo has their 10 grand. And then this investor over here is going to make 15 off of the 10 that he invested but over time. Right. So that's more than you asked, but that's how that's the basics of like notes and how you might invest in them.
And you can do that with a house too.
Yeah. And it may be a mortgage note. It could, instead of a car, it could have been, hey, I bought a house. I promised to pay Chase Bank or Wells Fargo again. They make mortgage notes, right? So much a month for whatever for 30 years. See, that's very long. And so then Wells Fargo can turn around and sell that, what they say, at a discount to an investor. And there's a lot more I can say about it, but hopefully I answered the question. Cash flow and asset is the topic. Yes.
Right.
You're absolutely correct.
Oh, we've got a Facebook user question. Oh, interesting. That's an interesting question.
Got it. So,
okay, here we go. Got a question.
If you're on Facebook,
excellent.
That's a good. If you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission, then it will actually show your name. Otherwise, all we see is Facebook user, because that's the technology we're using. We're using StreamYard to do this.
Hi, Facebook user.
So it goes multiple places. It goes to Facebook. It goes to YouTube. It goes in our group. Those kind of things. But later on, we'll find out who it was. But for now, Facebook user, what's the best way to find a management company for STRs that aren't local to you? I'm going to let Wendy answer this. I want to know what Wendy says about this question.
That's a really great question. So I'm going to make some assumptions here.
Ooh, that's always tough.
And
when you make assumptions.
Right.
But okay.
And you know what happens when you assume things.
Yes.
Right.
You always get it wrong.
So
that's okay.
Always get it wrong. So I'm going to answer your question with some questions, because now
dog that really wants
I got questions. So when you say management company, do you mean like a property management company for a short-term rental? And is this kind of like a vacation rental? That's what I'm assuming. This sounds a lot like you have a vacation house somewhere and you use it occasionally and you don't want to manage it, so you want somebody else to manage it for you. That's my assumption. That's what I get out of this question.
It could be, or it could be that I heard that Tampa, Florida was a great place to have a short-term rental, but I live in Chicago, so I'm planning on buying a place in Tampa, and I need to know what's the best way to find a management company to manage it for me. Could be that too, right?
Okay.
It's just remote.
Okay, sure. I mean, yeah. Well, so here's the thing. That's in essence what we do. We are the short-term rental management company. That's what we do. We, in essence, manage the units, the properties, right? That's what we do. Because when you pass that off to some other company, they're going to charge you what? 10, 15%? to manage that for you,
That would be cheap, but yes.
maybe 20. Well, your margins in the short-term rental space are going to run you about 20-30%. So if you are not doing it yourself, then you're giving up part of that cash flow there, right? That's what I would say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, that's exactly it. I would have to read a lot into that question.
Yeah, I mean,
But to answer the question directly, what's the best way to find a management company or SDRs that aren't local to you? I'm a big fan of referrals. So, like, just to answer the question directly, I'm a big fan of referrals. So, if I could get in a real estate group, because there's lots of local real estate groups. They may be online, by the way, like Facebook groups. Like here in Charlotte, we have Charlotte Real Estate Investors. We have North Carolina Real Estate Investors Facebook group, right? And find one that's active and simply ask for a referral, like who are you using and do you like them? I like that a lot better than Googling a company and reading their ad about why they're the best, because they're not going to tell you they're not, right?
Right.
And the reviews on their website are all going to be good because they filter them, right? So I'm always after a referral. I'm always after a referral from somebody that's already using them to say, okay, what do you like? What do you not like about them? And would you recommend them type thing? Because that I feel like that's where you get the best answer from. However, the path that Wendy was going down is absolutely correct, because a lot of times because that is the direct answer that I would give you your question, but I would probably ask a question back like, what are you trying to do there? Because here's what I'm afraid of, because I see it all the time. I see people that will buy a place, put it under property management, thinking that's going to make it passive, like they would regular real estate, because it's not real estate. And what happens is you eventually find out that over a 12-month period, like there's some months you're going to be like super happy, and there's some months you're going to be like, what the hell's going on over there? And it's probably going to all average out to, I could have just made it a long-term rental and it would have made the same amount of money with a lot less hassle, because they're going to probably require you to provide the supplies, which you're just hoping they know how to manage inventory so that people don't use too many supplies. They're going to have you pay for any damage that happens, and you just hope that they know what they're doing so damage doesn't happen. They're going to take 20% of the gross revenue, whether you make money or not, because they don't know what your expenses are. And one of the biggest expenses that you're going to overlook and not think about is the opportunity cost of, what if it was just a long-term rental? If it made $1,500 as a long-term rental anyway, without trying to do the short-term rental thing, then why are they getting 20% of that piece? One. And two, what the short-term rental business makes is over and above that. So it better be able to pay regular rent, or either you've got two separate businesses and one's subsidizing the other sometimes. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you would normally get $1,500 in rent and this month the short-term rental business can only pay you $12, then you lost $300 in there somewhere, right? So it's the opportunity cost of the loss to rent that a lot of people don't calculate. So I don't know if that we answered it two different ways, but hopefully we thoroughly answered it, I think. If not, hit me back. Tyree, Mr. Payne. How do we utilize LinkedIn as a marketing tool? What do you say?
LinkedIn. Ooh.
This is a really good question. So
yes, it is.
You want to say something?
I don't know anything about LinkedIn.
Oh, you're not on there at all?
Mm-mm.
So what LinkedIn is, just
I mean, I know it's for your business.
yeah, it's like it's a social
I'm-
media platform, but
I mean,
it's
I'm on it, but I can't remember the last time I got on LinkedIn.
right, but it's usually more for it's more of a professional environment. So like you don't post pictures of your food there,
Right. Well, that's why I said
right? Or
it's
like
used for business.
well, it's often used for people that are have a career or something. Like you say, hey, I work
Maybe
here.
that's why I don't use it.
So it's all well, okay.
I don't have a career.
Well, that's actually true. You were a school teacher and you were in the government system. So
Right.
I understand that this LinkedIn is way more private sector. Okay, I got it. Now I understand. So like me back when I had a job in like a a corporation, LinkedIn is a place to go put like what your degree is,
Well, I
where
mean, I
you
know
work.
what it is.
Other people can I know, but you obviously don't understand the value of it, because the value of it usually, like in a traditional sense, is that other people endorse you for skills and you have these connections, right? So it's a networking tool that says like somebody that you worked with, but they worked with this other guy and now you're third connections to the CEO over here type thing. So you can kind of network for, and a lot of people use it for employment and as a de facto resume.
Oh, so it's like networking.
Yeah, it's networking and it's almost like your resume and
interesting.
that kind of thing. It's for professional networking. So it's not really always like, hey, I got a business and I'm talking to other business owners. I want to say 99% of it is well, in my case, a software developer who's looking to connect with other software developers and maybe like the hiring managers at Microsoft so I can get a job there.
Gotcha.
Type network.
Okay.
Like it's like that. Right.
But Tyree, you want to use it as a marketing tool?
But you can use it as a marketing tool.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
And one of and I said all that to say the way that I have used it and you have too, you just don't remember, as a marketing tool, specifically in the short-term rental business. One of the examples was the ALE Solutions. So ALE Solutions, if you don't know, is a
alternative living expenses.
Alternative living expenses, what ALE stands for, right? It just happens to be in their name. But what they do is they place people who have some sort of insurance claim. So like Nationwide, State Farm, Liberty Mutual.
So somebody who has fire
right
in their house or water pipe bust or something like
that. Yeah,
that.
like they had a homeowner's insurance policy with one of those big companies.
Right.
And those big companies then are supposed to provide them housing while the house is being repaired. But instead of doing it directly themselves, they hire a third party, and ALE Solutions is one of those. So as a short-term rental provider of housing, it's good to know that because we want a relationship with ALE Solutions, right? It only makes sense because we've got places to stay. They've got people that need places to stay. That seems like a good relationship. The question is, how do you network with like an ALE Solutions? Well, one of the ways is go front door, which means go to their website and sign up and get your property there. A backdoor way to do that, and I'm including this as marketing, is go on LinkedIn and see who works at ALE Solutions and find out who perhaps the manager is over there that does that stuff, and contact that person on LinkedIn and then say, hey, John and Wendy, Queen City Suites, we provide this service. We see that you're the manager over there. Could we possibly, send you some of our stuff, right? And that's one of the ways we've been able to do it, is to be able to get in touch with that manager and then send her the stuff directly that then she sends to her employees under her.
We actually had a conversation with the manager.
We did. We set up a Zoom call. So that was a very direct and very specific thing that we have done with LinkedIn to market.
And ALE Solutions is not the only one. They are one of the biggest, but they're not the only alternative living expenses company.
That's true. But you could do the same thing with any of them.
Do the same thing with all of them.
But that's one very specific niche, right? That's one very specific client type of.
And y'all are in an extended stay market, so
Right. What I'm trying to say is like they're also in Seattle. So
Right.
like
Right.
go on
So-
LinkedIn and look up the Seattle-based companies and find out who the HR places people in charge of HR of those companies and contact them on LinkedIn and say, hey, we've got these places. Do you ever have employees come into the area that need housing?
Yeah.
Right. That's a very direct way to market. I don't know if they answered the question, but
Yeah.
that's just some of our personal experience and what I would maybe do.
Hey, Genesis.
Huh. Michael said, "What are the pros and cons of developing your own referral plan?" Oh, I forgot about you. You guys like this kind of stuff. Yeah, I remember having these conversations.
Referral program.
Well, it's all pro basically, right? So if you're going to develop a referral program, and we do this, by the way, very specific, practical thing you can do is I don't know if you remember when we went through the messaging templates originally. We had this. There, you probably have this in your system because we helped set it up. But you have that message that goes out 3 days after they stay that asks them for a review if they haven't left one. We replaced that message. So now instead of asking for the review on the platform, what we actually say is, preferred status achieved. You're now a preferred customer of ours. You can now come back direct with us at this website, and here are the benefits that you can get.
And it's legal to do that on Airbnb and Vrbo.
We can argue about it later, but we do it. Let's just say that. And
well, they're your customer now. They've completed their stay.
Understood. They are.
That's my story, and I'm
anyway, we do it. But the point is, it tells them, hey, here's some benefits that you can get if you come back and book with us direct. Automatic 1 hour late checkout, so they can check out at 12 instead of 11. You also get preferred pricing. You get the best pricing. And by the way, anybody that you refer to us also gets 5% off of their booking. All they have to do is mention your name when they book. Right. So that's a great way to generate referrals. Another way we've done it is through basically just coupon codes. So through the PMS that we have, you can generate coupon codes that give a percentage off or whatever. And we've done that. So those are examples of referral programs that are easy for us to do and implement.
Coupon codes are like super easy.
Right, because they go do it themselves. There's no like system you need really. You had to go create it.
And Hospitable keeps track of all those email addresses.
It sure does, yeah. So you could send those out, but what they're asking is what the pros and cons, and that's what I was kind of trying to allude to. The only con I can think of is the administration of it. So don't create a referral program that requires a massive amount of administration, because at the size that you are currently, there probably won't be a whole lot of it going on. Right. So don't waste a ton of energy on it. So I would say that could be a con of it, is the method that you choose to implement it. So we've chosen to implement it in a very passive way that is easy to deliver, versus I got to go create this point system, like try to duplicate Marriott points or something. Right. That's a whole different system that we're not Marriott. Right. So I would say that would be a con if I had to think of one.
Yeah, and having your customer experience specialist do all that work.
For sure. Yeah.
But creating coupon codes is super easy to do. It doesn't take very long.
Right. Business partnerships as companies and employees can be contacted this place. Yep.
LinkedIn.
Exactly. That's back to LinkedIn.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I didn't know that we did LinkedIn.
I'm gonna take it that we either said something funny, you agreed
No.
with us, or you're looking at that cat in the background.
Right.
Because there's no, I see her licking herself, and there's no telling what she's been doing while I'm
There's
doing
no
it. No telling.
And she is a capital B. She's pretty, but only on the outside.
Oh no, she's become very
So, not to me. She bite, and I'm the one that feeds her.
well, she's old. She's what, 12 now, at least? Yeah.
Yeah, she's all.
But she's become very pleasant to me. She used to bite me. If I got near 3 feet of that cat, she'd bite me. And now she's very, she purrs and she lets me pet on her. And
I got like a couple of good pets in.
yeah, I think she's
like 12 years old.
yeah,
Bless her.
I'm not sure what it is. Maybe she's just decided that she needs to.
She resigned herself to her fate.
Yeah, or maybe she got right with Jesus, or I don't know. Like, she's facing her mortality, and I don't know. I'm just saying, she got a lot nicer.
She could have come to Jesus.
She might have. You never know.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know if animals can do that or not.
Those were good questions.
Yeah, they were.
Those were really good questions.
Well, I didn't have really anything else to add.
No.
Felt like we were kind of just rambling, but I'm glad we were able to answer some of your questions. Definitely come back next week.
Yeah.
And hang out. And again, if you're in Charlotte, hey, come to a cash flow game.
We love to play cash flow.
That's in live, in person.
It is fun.
We usually eat beforehand, so you get food too. I'm a big fan of food.
Yep.
Yep.
We're foodies. That's why we like to go out and try different places.
Yeah. Yeah. It's market research.
Market research.
Market
That's the
research
word that I was
for
looking
events.
for.
Event
Market
spaces.
research. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I guess if you have any further questions. Oh, by the way, I got this cool little thing I can do. Thought. Oh, I don't.
Oh, that's right. We're having a webinar on Saturday. On Saturday at 9 Eastern. Ooh, that's early for you guys over there on the West Coast.
Is it 9 Eastern?
I believe so. Is
it this Saturday?
I believe yes. It's the 12th.
Oh.
It's the 12th from 9 to 12.
Oh, well, definitely
Or
come
9,
to that.
9 to 10 or
Yeah, so
11.
if you're watching this, come to the webinar.
Yes.
And check that out.
Yes. That is yep.
Because we're basically going to walk you through the entire business
Yes.
and how to do all that.
From
and
the very beginning.
Even you guys that know, hey, come and help us out.
Yeah, really.
There's we don't know everything, and I'm sure when you ask that question, I'll be like, I don't remember that we talked about that. That's right. Oh, we got one more. What are your methods of market research? Ooh, that's a broad topic. When you say market research, do you mean like if I'm going to go to a new market, how do I research it? Because I could talk another 30 minutes about that. Or do you what do you mean? Is it the market that you're currently in? What do you mean research? Price? What other people are doing? Who's coming there? It's very broad. Could be a very broad question.
We go out to eat.
Yeah, we do go out to eat a lot. We do.
That's what we do.
That is one of our methods. We actually do that. Like if you're asking about the local market, we'll go places.
We will, and then we'll put it in our book.
Yes, we've even stayed in other people's units.
Yep,
like locally.
That's true.
On purpose.
We have done that. We have booked a unit through, I think, Airbnb.
I think it was Airbnb.
I think it was Airbnb, and then we stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see
what it was.
What was their operation like?
Yeah. Like what messages did you get?
How easy was it to check in?
Yeah.
What did they have in there?
What they have in there.
A lot of it wasn't good, to be honest.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
So we actually stayed in somebody else's unit and market that we wanted to go to.
Yeah. And then you realize, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And you're like, oh,
maybe
competition?
Maybe the market isn't saturated at all.
Right. Yeah, saturated with amateurs.
If you've noticed a change and trying to get more. Okay. Now we're getting to the underlying question because I hear that a lot.
Yeah, somebody else asked this question.
somebody else. Every
Not
coaching
some.
client that I've had this past
Right.
2 months has asked me this question.
I've had one person ask me this question.
Really? Only one?
Yes.
Really? Well,
Mhm.
it seems like everybody asked me this question.
Yeah.
Maybe they think to ask me this question. Um, if well, there's a lot to discuss. So partially, it's seasonality. So just traditionally, anyway, this time of year, uh, well, we've just come through a slow period. So June, July, and August for us are our highest months traditionally. September it drops way off, and the main reason for that is kids go back to school. So
Because of who we serve.
and we serve families with children and pets. But even just in general, like with travel, people are traveling less because it's not summer, right? But in our experience, at least in our market, November's a little better because you start having some holidays and people doing family stuff. And then November's a little, did I say November 1st?
You said November already.
Yeah, October, a little bit. November starts getting better. December's actually pretty good. But it's also partially because, well, yeah, I only sold 7 days, but they were Christmas and they paid us $2,000 because it was Christmas.
Right.
Right. So the prices of the days were higher, even the occupancy wasn't there. So overall revenue was fine. And then January, it falls off the cliff again because everybody just had holidays and nobody goes anywhere.
Yep.
And then gradually it builds up again. February, a little better. March, a little better because we start getting those spring graduations and stuff that we have and people traveling more. And then summer comes again. Right. So that's just a natural thing that happens. There's also some things going on with the platforms recently that they've changed that has affected possibly how you may show up in an algorithm. And if you don't have a strategy for showing up in search already, or even if you did, it probably needs to change a little bit because of how they're doing that. But the worst thing is if you didn't have a strategy at all and you were just listed, and these are the people that are actually struggling the most because, well, they didn't have a plan to begin with, and they still don't, and it feels like you're just kind of like a sailboat with no rudder, right? You're just getting blown around wherever the wind goes. But yes, I've noticed a change in the market, and we've adapted to it. Is kind of the answer, and trying to get more bookings with the current market. It's partially the market, like I said, it's partially seasonality, but it's also partially algorithms in the places that you're likely listed. And I'll leave it there, I guess. Yeah, huge decline in bookings.
Yeah.
And my guess is since summer, basically, because summer masked. It actually happened before that, but summer masked a lot of it because the demand was so strong. And now you're just noticing it more.
Where are they at?
Ooh, I don't remember. I want to say Tennessee, maybe somewhere around there. But yeah, it has to do with how you're being ranked based on your total fees. So if you didn't see recently the announcement by Airbnb about how they were showing total, Memphis. I knew it was Tennessee. Just south of Memphis, actually. But the way they were ranking you previously was based on nightly rate, and now they're changing that to total cost per night, which is different because it means it includes your fees. So like some of those things that we did in the past, to where we would have a low nightly rate, but then try to make it up with the fees, you're probably actually being penalized for that.
Like the community fee and the
any fees really, including your cleaning fee, but you got to pay a cleaner, so I haven't taken that one off.
No, I'm not.
Right, but you might try that as just as a practical step. I would try it as an experiment and go in there and remove every fee that I had except for the cleaning fee, and then maybe possibly raise my nightly rate to compensate a little bit, and see if you don't get some inquiries just by doing that.
Interesting.
So that's kind of, and there's been a bug, and there's a known bug in Airbnb,
now
for example,
that's for sure.
that is miscalculating fees.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And you can't see it, by the way. If you go do a search, your prices will show up just fine. It's the fact that the algorithm is basing it on the incorrect calculation. So you might have a $30 fee in there and it's adding 300, for example. Not saying I know that for sure, like 30 and 300, but you get the point. And that's the whole reason I said, hey, go remove your fees and see what happens. Because that'll tell you right away, oh, am I, a victim of this bug in the software that they haven't told everybody about? Or is it the algorithm is favoring lower fees or whatever? So I would do experiments like that. So anytime, and that's just a general rule, by the way, anytime I'm experiencing a decline in bookings and whatever, I'll start taking things away and making it extremely easy and straightforward to book. Like even going to flexible cancellation policy, same day booking till whenever, 10 p.m. and nothing but a cleaning fee. Right. And that's about as flexible as you can get. And then once you start getting bookings back, then you can start adding some of that stuff back in. But the whole point is don't lose money, right? You got to play defense sometimes. It's not all about offense. Sometimes it's defending the profit I've already made. So hopefully that helps. That's just what I've seen lately for some other stuff, other people. Memphis, they said, yeah.
Memphis. There's got to be some things going on in Memphis too, like tentpole events.
Well, that's just it. It's not that there aren't people coming to the area.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. It's something else.
But I mean, you could go to a different platform, go add some platforms.
You could, yeah, get on Verba, get some other things.
Mm-hmm.
But often that's not solving the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's just exposing the problem.
Sure.
And I've had people do that. They're like, well, let's go get on Verba. And all of a sudden it's like all my bookings come from Verba. Well, cool, but why aren't you getting any inquiries from Airbnb? Like something's going on over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we even had one case where we had to recreate the entire account. And then all of a sudden they weren't getting inquiries or nothing.
That was weird.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
In Houston.
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. It's not like it was a small town or something.
Yeah.
And we just noticed it by the fact that, hey, they were getting a lot more, because you can go in Airbnb and look at your insights and see how many page views you're getting. And he was getting 136 just in 30 days or something.
Yeah, no way. And I designed those units myself, so I know they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're beautiful. It wasn't that. But I knew that, hey, in Charlotte here, I'm getting 9,000 in the same period of time. Right. And you're in Houston.
Yeah.
And I'm in Charlotte. Yeah. And
how much bigger is Houston than Charlotte?
Houston's bigger than Charlotte, I think. Even if they're the same size, 126 is a lot less than 9,000.
Yeah, that's odd.
So it was just obvious there was something going on. And so we just recreated the account and all of a sudden, bam, it was good. So it could be a visibility problem.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
just
pass along what's happened.
Yep, we got lots of experience with it, with lots of different people all across the country.
It's true.
Yeah, having all sorts of problems. Yeah, I remember that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it may be just that, or it could be the way you're marketing it.
Interesting.
There's sometimes we like to think, oh well, it's the big old bad system that's wrong, but
well, who's staying in the one bedrooms? I mean, are they the same customer?
And it's like I would want to know what's profitability per square foot too, because that's how you would measure it, right? But anyway.
Yeah.
You got anything else? I'm ready to wrap it up.
I don't think so. I think we covered a plethora of topics today.
Plethora.
The superior kitten. Oh,
Well, I've got to put that
my.
up there.
That is fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous. Can Mona be the superior kitten here too?
Perhaps.
Wait.
Maybe it is Mona,
Wait.
and she doesn't have thumbs, so it takes her a long time to get her
That's
device like up and going.
That's true.
And like type. So it could have been that it took her an hour to type.
Hi.
It could have been. That could be Mona. Could be Mona. We don't know.
Well, very nice. Well done.
Yes.
Well done. We liked to answer all of these questions. So bring it. Bring your questions. We are having a webinar on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So go register for that. We will be back here next Wednesday night, same bat time, same bat channel. We hope that we get to see each and every one of you, including the superior kitten, because
That's right.
that is fabulous.
Excellent.
We really like that. So, all right. Well, if there's no further questions, I don't see any questions.
No, we'll let it go.
Okay.
We've been going an hour.
All righty then. Ciao, everyone. Good to see you. See you later. Name Mona after what? Morgana? Morgana. Oh, I didn't. No. She was named Mona because the first night that we had her, that's all she did was moan. Meow, 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 meow.
Yes.
And now to this day, when she wants to go outside, you can hear it.
Yes. So she's always been Mona.
Oh my gosh. She is very loud. She's very loud meow. So her name is Mona.
And now you know everything about the cat. Bonus answer. See you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.